May I start now, Ashish bhai?
Yes.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm your host, Harish Chandra, CTO Server Hotels and founder of GSTP. On behalf of CIO Club, I would like to welcome all our participants and panelists on Sunday afternoon. The Technology webinar, Unlock 1.0, Safe Travel and Safe Stay. As a part of CIO CXO Talk series, which we will hear the views of our industry experts. CIO Club has started CIO CXO Talk Series, which is India's first knowledge sharing platform, exclusively by and for CIOs and CXOs. The event series provides a rare deep learning opportunity for all aspiring leaders and have CIOs and CXOs from well-known enterprises. In order to get more benefits of CIO Club, in case till now you are not member of CIO Club, kindly visit our website www.cioclub.com for registration. In case you have any query, you can always write to helpdesk@cioclub.com. I'm quite hopeful that you would enjoy this session. Now I would like to request admin team to please play CIO Club video.
CIO Club is an initiative of CIO Association, an association of CIOs by CIOs and for CIOs. CIOs of Indian enterprises has formed the CIO Club, registered as the CIO Association. CIO Club is a non-profit and the largest association of Chief Information Officers in India. It is registered under the Indian Societies Act. CIO Club was formed in 2008 and from one chapter in 2008, CIO Club has now chapters over the years. We now have chapters in Mumbai, Delhi NCR, Chennai, Bangalore, Pune, Coimbatore, Hyderabad and Kolkata. From a humble beginning of 30 CIOs in Mumbai, it has now grown to more than 100 members across the country. CIO Club is governed by a governing body and chapter managing committees which drive the CIO Club objectives nationally. Our technology partners leverage this strong platform to showcase their products and services to the CIOs. The key objectives of the club are to share experience, enhance knowledge, and explore better business solutions by leveraging the collective wisdom of large number of CIOs who are registered members. The primary objective is to drive the business benefit to the organizations of the member CIOs and also help CIOs in their professional growth as effective leaders. The club also encourages entrepreneurial spirit by providing a platform for sharing and generating innovative ideas in the larger interest of the community. CIOs from every industrial domain indulge in this endeavor for the evolution of the IT community. Today, CIO Club is poised to scale up in terms of location spread, breadth of membership, and building new alliances to bring international best practices within the reach of the community. International club relationships are being built. One such initiative is CIO Net. Members of CIO Club gets free access to a wealth of knowledge and opportunities to network and mark their presence in the international community of CIOs. More emphasis is being laid on knowledge sharing, and also avenues of spreading this knowledge to other members of the IT departments are being set up. CIO Club is actively working with industry bodies such as NASSCOM, CII, ASSOCHAM to ensure that the CIO community has a voice in such forums. We have also constituted special interest groups on IT security and digital transformation to strengthen knowledge and experience sharing in these two critical areas of information technology. We are working towards a welfare program, an executive education program for CIOs, and it will be launched shortly for all the members of the CIO Club. So, join the CIO Club and start learning, sharing and caring. For more details, visit us on www.cioclub.com. Follow us on LinkedIn, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram and YouTube.
Thank you everyone for patient hearing. Thank you, Ashiji. Thank you everyone for patient hearing. These are unprecedented times, and we all are adapting to the new ways of life that COVID is asking us to practice, which is putting our health above all other priorities. These are difficult and different times for business globally with lockdowns, restricted trade, barriers on movement of people, and many more. Social distancing, health and hygiene protocols have become buzzword today, and everybody is proactively working to ensure the risk is contained. Government, industry bodies, businesses, and individuals are taking necessary steps to ensure continuity. While the flights taking to skies and hotels about to start operations from tomorrow, everyone is anxious as how the business will be conducted in the new normal. Today, we are attempting to get viewpoints from various stakeholders of travel and tourism industry to highlight the best practices being adopted and the ways and means to assure that the traveler and employees remain hale and healthy, and how our industry can win sentiments of our customers so that we remain in business. I would now like to take opportunity to introduce our eminent panelists. We have a strong mix of panelists across all verticals of travel and tourism industry. Dr. Sudhir Andrews needs no introduction. He is the first MBA from the IM to join hospitality industry in 1971. I was born in 1971, Dr. Andrews. When he joined Oberoi Hotels, he rose quickly to corporate head of human resources of Oberoi Hotels and set up the Oberoi Hotel School, now it is known as OCLD, as a director. He later led the human resources of ITC Welcome Group. He also commissioned the Welcome Graduate School of Hotel Administration in Manipal, Karnataka. He has been principal of Institute of Hotel Management and Catering Technology, Pusa, New Delhi, on the boards of National Council of Hotel Management and Catering Technology, and several IHMs in the North and West India, the National Hotel Classification Committee, and also worked with the UNDP, ILO, and WTE, World Tourism Organization. 15 years in Dubai at various roles, and he set up the first Arab hotel school in UAE. He was a dean of hospitality school at IIMT Oxford Brookes Gurgaon for a year. He later set up École Hôtelière Lavasa as dean academics, which was set up in collaboration with École Hôtelière de Lausanne, Switzerland. He is presently a distinguished adjunct professor for hotel management with Oro University, Surat. He is also chairman of advisory committee. He is author of many hospitality-related books and has been honored with multiple awards. We all are fortunate to have him here among us today. Thank you so much. Now, I would like to introduce you. Most welcome, Dr. Saab. You will not believe I did my hotel management in 1990 and I have read your books with great interest. We all have done that actually. It's not only me.
Thank you.
Mr. Prahlad, you most welcome, Dr. Saab. Mr. Prahlad S. Advani is a graduate from prestigious Cornwall School of Hotel Administration. He worked in New York in investment banking before returning to our beloved country. He is also an alumnus of Harvard Business School. Mr. Prahlad is serving as director of Caribla Beach Resort, Goa. It is a very beautiful property. I stayed in this property last year and I felt that this is the best property in India. His company is listed on the Bombay Stock Exchange since 30 years and has one of the highest return on assets and return on equity in our industry. Now, I would like to introduce Mr. Saurabh Sinha, CIO of Indigo Airlines. Mr. Saurabh Sinha is highly accomplished senior IT technology executive. He has exceptional global experience of over 26 years, in which the last 13 years as CIO of Qatar Airways Group, Kingfisher Airlines, and Oman Air. Mr. Saurabh was strategically involved in managing airlines' IT systems and other subsidiaries of Qatar Airways as a ground handling cargo and airlines catering. Lead technology facilitator for the new Muscat International Airport, and he was also board of director of SITA HC 2006 to 2007. Great to have you all panelists here. Now I would like to introduce you with Mr. Siddharth Gupta, who is co-founder of Tribo Hotels. Tribo is a leading and loved brand in budget hotel segment. It is a technology-led asset-light brand that works on franchised model. We have heard of franchise, we have heard of managed. Franchise is a new word, and it is progressing very well. Tribo has 600 plus properties, 15,000 plus keys under its brand. Tribo also runs a SaaS business under brand name Hotel Superhero, where it provides a comprehensive suite of technology solutions to small independent hotels and chains. Mr. Shiv Kumar Mehan. Mr. Mehan enjoys 28 years of experience in establishing and operating hotels and resorts. He has a history of working in many aspects of hospitality and catering industry across India and Nepal. Total experience includes setup and launch of over 40 hospitality units across the country and streamlining companies' operations. He is hands-on with various hospitality verticals, loves to work with dynamic team and result-oriented professionals. Companies worked with during his career are Taj Group of Hotels, Shangri-La, Sarwar Hotels, and Clarks Group. His current profile is Chief Operating Officer of the Leisure Group of Hotels that has 28 properties ranging from hotels, resorts, mid-scale, camps, and villa boutique. Mr. Jaykiran Ahluwalia, our last panelist, is currently VP and Head Corporate Travel, Miles, Leisure, and Forex for International Travel House. It's an associate company of ITC. He looks after business pan-India. He has an experience of 25 years in corporate travel industry. He has worked in various management roles with global and local travel management companies like American Express, Carlson Wagner Litt, and Thomas Cook. I have finished the introduction of all the panelists. Now I will request Dr. Sudhir Andrews to give us a presentation about a new normal. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I just want to get this thing on screen. A very good evening to all of you. I'm very privileged to be with this group. Thank you. Yes, it is very difficult to talk to people who are so already with so much of knowledge. Today, I will have to go through my slides very fast because I have another webinar to attend to. So please forgive me if I'm a little quick. Today, I'm going to be talking about the bouncing back of the hotel industry in COVID-19 with a specific reference to safety and hygiene. Okay. So the main concerns, according to me, for the hospitality industry is health and safety. That is obvious. Cash, liquidity, technology, social contribution. I'll be talking about health and safety only in this presentation. Of course, the challenges that face the hotels is creating trust in the travelers, keeping social distance at work, ensuring guest and staff safety, providing maximum physical evidence of safety, maintaining a low-touch operation. Okay. Now, let's go. What I recommend to the hotel industry is to do a soft opening. They shouldn't go with their full bang and all the lights on and like a Christmas tree. You know, they should open frugally like they do for a new property with 2 floors, 1 or 2 floors, and perhaps 1 restaurant. It is an attempt to just so I can see how the people are responding to the lifting and traveling or lifting of the lockdown, and also their mood to travel. All staff will be wearing surgical hotel-sponsored masks We recommend all hoteliers not to give them to get the workers to wear all sorts of masks. It doesn't look professional. So I would suggest that the hotels use the masks they can even brand that. It could be a branding exercise that everybody wears a similar kind of mask that looks much more preferable. Then hiring a chief information technical officer is very important because we have no other choice but to go into technology in the future in a big way. As a matter of fact, COVID-19 has pushed us into technology. Then hire a chief safety and sanitation officer to oversee the safety standards and to look after the various audit the various safety and sanitation procedures. Tie up with the local hospital for hygiene and sanitation training, as well as accepting suspected cases. Then partnering with cleaning companies like Diversity, Beckenser, Ecolab, Bureau Veritas, or National Accreditation Board of Hospitals and healthcare providers to get a stamp of approval. And if one can get a certificate by them, it can be displayed largely in the lobby and display safety certificates prominently. Okay, now I'm going to take a guest journey from the airport. We've got very eminent speakers to talk about the travel by air, and as now we are talking, he is landed, and now there is a limousine or a van waiting to pick him up to take him to the hotel. This is how it is going to be. The drivers will be wearing masks and will be also wearing surgical gloves, and will hand over to the guests a pouch which will have a mask, a hand sanitizer, the capsule type. It will have the surgical gloves, and it will have a brochure which will give briefly what he can expect when he's coming to the hotel. Okay, so this is very important of preparing the customer as to the kind of procedures that he's going to face, he or she is going to face. So now, hopefully, when the drive takes place from the airport, oh yes, there's going to be a screen between the driver and the back seat, so that there is that distance indicated. So while they're driving back to the hotel, hopefully the guests will be reading that brochure, and at the gate, you will have the security people doing the distant the temperature scanning. Okay, right now I feel even the present terrorist procedure that we have can be dispensed with, because we've got another terrorist called COVID-19, and that requires a separate kind of procedure, and that is on the top of everyone's mind. At the portico, people will go through a tunnel like this. Of course, it may not be immediate, but ultimately we want to get into a tunnel which will be giving a light mist of hydrogen peroxide and UV light, okay, to sanitize them. The hydrogen peroxide has no color, has no staining, does not stain, it's not harmful. So customers will walk through this. Now there's another machine which I was trying to get hold of, but I couldn't get it. But where you put your foot on a machine and it sanitizes the soles of your shoe. So both the shoe soles will be sanitized. And in front of the guest, the luggage that he has brought with him, including the hand luggage, will be sanitized. All these things will happen before they even enter the hotel. In the lobby, I recommend that all furniture be taken out. What customers would like to see is space and not a crowding. Psychologically, space will give them a feeling they are socially distant from everything. So I would recommend maybe 1 or 2 chairs somewhere if there is a senior citizen wanting to sit down. Okay. Then on the ground of the lobby will be these marks for social distancing at 1 meter apart, and the guests will stand in that and follow the vacant one ahead. They will at the reception there will be a bottle, a vase of pens with a sign written down there that these pens have been sanitized. Okay, so he takes that pen, whatever procedure he does, and then puts the pen in another bowl for future, for taking away for sanitization. So once there's a collection of these pens there, it will go for sanitization. Of course, there will be hand sanitizers on the reception counter, which is there right now. Okay, but there's another procedure that has to be done, and that is a declaration statement about whether he has been a COVID patient and he has recovered, whether he's been in touch with a COVID patient and is or suspected of that, and any other travel details he may have that could be cause a little bit of suspicion. Then we have, of course, the reception can have the spit guards or screens to separate the receptionist from the guest. Of course, what is going to happen very soon is going to be these use of mobiles to with a code using that what is that? There is a machine, a particular program on which they can open their own doors, guest room doors. Then they go to the elevator, and at the elevator there is going to be markings. If the elevator is narrow, there will be only 2 markings diagonally across. Okay, one marking will be next to the elevator, those buttons, and the other one diagonally across there. If there is a bigger elevator, there will be 4 markings, and the brochure has already prepared the guest that they will not enter an elevator if there are more than 4 people or 2 people accordingly, and they will wait for the next elevator. Okay, all messaging with and communication with the guest will be through WhatsApp. Okay, then once we reach the guest room, I suggest as they come out of the elevator, there's a sign which says, "Your room is sanitized for your comfort and safety." Now, these are basically physical evidences that I was talking about to give them the comfort to be able to feel comfortable in the hotel. Okay, of course the rooms will have that booklet again, and the rooms would have been sanitized to hospital standards, and then visual sanitation stickers in guest rooms. Then what is being done right now all over the world is that they allot every 3rd room, okay, not the adjoining room. So every 3rd room is allotted. And they, at a time of checkout, they retain checkout rooms from 24 to 72 hours before assigning it to the next person who is going to occupy that room. Okay. There will be DIY kits. We are still in the guest room, cleaning kits in the room. Housekeeping staff will be wearing a badge says screened, and they will be screened almost an hour every day, and the date and the time they were screened last will be on that badge. The room should be aired properly. We want the guests to get a fresh feeling and not a suffocating feeling in the room. And in the bathrooms, we have the usual protocols of putting those wrappers around the WC, and the glass tumblers are wrapped in cellophane paper. Then I believe there is a thing called ozonators, which can, in AC units that can be fixed out there, because now there is a concern about air conditioning and whether air conditioning will make the COVID-19 airborne. So they're a little concerned with that. But so these ozonators will sanitize the air coming from there without chemicals. So one needs to just check that out. Bed linen will be changed every 2 days. No turn down service. Now we come to public areas. Clean elevator buttons. This is one thing that the guests would like to see, that somebody is cleaning and sanitizing the elevator buttons inside as well as outside. Public area TVs to constantly show safety precautions. Public area floors must be mopped regularly. Cleaning staff wearing the same screened badge. Public area bathrooms to be sanitized regularly, and a nice smell in the bathroom also. If you can put some planters there, that would help. Spa services with low contacts like yoga, Ayurveda, hydropathy, and pranic healing. Pools will be closed for the time being, and beauty salons with appointments only, so that they can ensure the social distancing in their parlor. Okay, and safety stickers we want to see everywhere in public areas, so that they are constantly reminded about the procedures, that to follow the procedures. Now we come to dining, and I had recommended only one restaurant, and as one enters the dining hall, there will be a thermal scanning to see if they have got fever, and if not, then they are allowed to go in. All the tables will be 1 meter apart, okay? And if what is going to happen, there are going to be fewer seats because of that. So I recommend, if it is adjoining a corridor or a patio or a garden, then the tables can spill out into these areas also to give you more seating capacity. Alternatively, if it is very difficult to take out heavy furniture and things, and storage problems are there, I would suggest having alternate flagging system, which is a red flag and a green flag. The tables which have red flag are not to be assigned, and the tables with the green flag are to be assigned. So, and normally what we are trying to do is we are trying to avoid adjoining tables being assigned. So that's the thing about red and green flags. I'm recommending choice of those menus served only for the time being, okay? But these menus should be absolutely of high quality. We have to give them a good experience as far as the food is concerned. One can use screens, those Chinese lightweight screens made of silk or paper mache, that can divide tables if some family wants to be, have some privacy, and also give the impression of being sort of segregated from the others. Then the covers will not be laid in advance. They will be sanitized and handed over to the guest on a tray. And the guests will take the covers and lay it out for themselves, unless they want the waiter to do that for them. Okay. So that's what they have done. Now the very big question comes about buffets, and it seems that buffets are the most easy way for guests to help themselves. But I would guard against it, because there is always that perception that people are spitting while they are talking, or coughing, and droplets are coming out into the food, and etc., and making it messy. Of course, all buffets will have to have spit guards, and the cutlery used at the buffets are all disposable cutlery that they can throw away. Okay. In-room dining, people are more likely to be having in-room dining. So that's the next big thing that's going to happen in hotels. And therefore, I recommend that we have gourmet food and snack dispensers, on the floor, so that guests can through using QR codes can open those windows and take out some ready-made food. Food, when I say it, is a table-d'hote menu, a full tray of table-d'hote menu. So a four-course table-d'hote menu. So the guests are also in the room. We can have a full mini bar with glasses, with those small bottles that they use in the aircraft. Or they can get advanced information from the guests at the time of registration if they have any particular drinks that they would like to be stored in their room. Okay, so that would be another thing. Now let's assume that the guests are, the room service staff has to come, and these gourmet dispensers and all are not there. There is the knock and walk service procedure, which is the guest rings the bell, leaves the trolley outside the door and walks away. Okay. Of course, he'll be wearing the mask and everything, but he does not enter the room. The guest is supposed to drag that trolley into the room. And then, and that food again will be table-d'hote menu, but a choice is available to the guests. I recommend they install microwave ovens in rooms because some of them may want to bring their home food, and so that they can cook in the room, heat them up in the room. Then we can use RFID technology for clearance of corridors of these trays and all, and trolleys. And RFID, the moment you put it under this light, it indicates in the room service that these trays are there, and the waiter who's doing the collection of the trays can plan his movement on floors. Okay, so that is another thing. TV has to have a full suite of movie and news channels, and also pipe live performances on TV using SoundCloud sets. Okay. Now we come to human resources. This is the big challenge that is there with the guests, and that is lean staffing. I have a few slides about lean staffing if we have time, which is quite running out, and lean staffing and hiring a chief hygiene and sanitation officer. I mentioned that, and a chief information officer also. Housekeeping staff most important in this time, and they have to be properly trained by the hospital people. Multi-skilled engineers and AMC contracts as far as engineering is concerned. All staff will be wearing badges and screens. Thermal monitoring and sanitation of all workers at the entrance of the employee entrance. Okay. They will be also checked every hour. Now, cafeteria timings can be spaced out, or lunch boxes sent to the workplace. Some hotels are sending lunch boxes to this is abroad. The cafeteria timings spaced out, we say between 12 to 3 o'clock, so that each department is given a fixed time when they can come. And when they come to the cafeteria, they're sitting with the social distancing in place. Okay. Then if there are any outsourced services, which is going to be, according to me, a greater presence in hotels in the future, they should be treated as own, and all the checking and screening should be done accordingly. Okay. One thing that is new would be the staff transportation, which should, because we don't know how these employees are coming, and they will be coming by metro or by shared motorbike or taxis or whatever. We don't know if they are carrying something along. So I recommend that we have our own transportation to pick these employees up and drop them back. Okay, at least we can see that on travel they are not going to have any infections. And a very important thing is to prepare a quarantine room where both employees as well as guests can be quarantined and then sent off to the hospital that we have tied up with. Okay, management have to devise new SOPs for COVID-proof operations. vendor management. This is going to be a very interesting input that is going to come, and that is anything coming into the country in terms of into the hotel in terms of goods and vegetables and meats and things like that. Can bring in that corona. So the management has to ensure that the vendors themselves, their stores are clean, and they go and inspect it to see that the hygiene and sanitation standards are there. The vehicles that bring them are sanitized, and the people are there sanitized and wearing the necessary precautions. So there will be very strict goods handling policy between receiving, storing, and issuing, because we want to ensure that the goods that are being used are safe. Okay. Then there's the daily staff screening, social distancing at work, avoid break shifts, staff cafeteria, stretching the timings, create quarantine rooms, utilize spaces released. Banquet halls and all could be a problem, and because you're suddenly not going to have such big occasions, so maybe you can use that banquets halls for as webinar rooms if business people want to use it, or library or chess rooms or etc. Then I told you about employee travel, and install face recognition software instead of thumb impressions, and redesign organization structure for lean staffing. Now, in the next, I think I will stop here because I've got some very nice things for lean staffing, but we'll keep it for another day. And I value the time that is being given to me and given to by the organizers out here. I'm open to any questions now. Close this. Yeah, if there are any questions from the participants or anything, I'm open to it for the next 5 minutes before I leave. And if there are none, can I take your leave and wish you all the best and keep safe. And I have a firm belief, which I'm telling in all my webinars, that our travel and hotel industry is very resilient and they will bounce back. That's why I call my presentation Bouncing Back. We have had many such disruptions before, like the Kargil War, SARS epidemic. We have had also the plague in Surat, as also the terrorist movement, the attack on Taj, that disrupted the hotel and travel industry. So but we have always come back with a bang and even stronger. So please be assured that you will be also, that they will be strong, and hope you travel. Okay, thank you very much. Over to you.
We have a question for you. There's a question asked by Mr. Rajesh. With all the precaution by hotels and restaurants, do we see cost going high due to these additional safety measures? Measures from sourcing, storing, preparation, serving, etc.
No, I don't see a major cost. It is going to be masks and things like this is hardly any cost, comparatively. The only thing that will be of cost will be that tunnel, maybe that sanitation body tunnel. That's the only thing. Otherwise, no. Thermometers, yeah, they are a little expensive, but it's a one-time investment, and we are going to be using this for quite some time. So it's worth it, to have these kind of equipment, only to ensure that we are able to do our operations as the guests want it. The guests want this kind of operation. I don't think so. It's not going to be very expensive. Any other question, Harish? Okay. With that, I take your leave and thank you very much. And thank you, panelists. Nice knowing you. and I wish the webinar all success. Goodbye.
Dr. Saab, I'm very sorry. I'm very sorry. I have a small question for you. It will take only 1 minute. And I would like to thank you for putting so much of efforts and taking us through the journey of new norm for hotel operations. It's really very insightful. Really appreciate all the time and efforts.
Thank you. Thank you. And what is the question?
I have a question for you. The question is about that sanitization tunnel, hydrogen peroxide. There is a myth that if it can go inside the body, it can go inside the lungs, it's harmful for the body. Hotel industry is trying to find the right answer to put the right solutions, and still there is a lot of confusion.
Yeah, of course. Listen, this is an operation ongoing. They will be more safer. These kind of sanitizers, etc. Well, we are using UV apparatus along with it, but I hope somebody can give a better alternative, unless you know one. But yeah, I mean, that's the closest that has come so far. And if another one comes, it's okay. It's operations in progress. Yeah.
The other thing is UV lights are very harmful for human body. It can damage the skin. It is carcinogenous. It can convert your eye. Your eyes can have cataract. So there is a lot of debates happening in the industry, and I hope with time we will get the answers. Really, your presentation is very insightful. We all love it. Thanks for all the time.
Yes, of course. These debates and all will continue. And as you say, we are very learned on this. So let us see what comes out of it. And it's work in progress, okay? This whole procedures and all that we are doing is work in progress and can be improved. I mean, I just heard about Bangalore airport being completely touchless, till they board the plane. So there you are, it's work in progress that is happening. And I think that international, which is that the International Travel House, which is a very popular thing, has stated the safe car promise. I mean, these kind of things are coming up. So the safe car promise. So it's work in progress, and we'll keep on improving on this. I'm very sure we'll bounce back.
Thank you, Dr. Saab. We have a VP of ITH also in our panel. We'll ask him all these questions related to safe travel.
Yes, and I request if I can get the recording, because I want to hear all my panelists what they have to say. It will be a great education to me too.
We'll do this.
So can I exit now? Can I exit?
Please, thank you so much for all your time and efforts.
Thank you.
It is a very insightful.
Thank you, and all the best in the webinar. Yeah.
Stay healthy. Thank you. Okay, now I have something very interesting. Hope all like the session of Dr. Sudhir. He has put a lot of efforts. Now, exciting thing is that we have planned a fun quiz based on CIO, CXO top topic Unlock 1.0. For the same, you need to download our application Kahoot, Kilo Alpha Hotel Orange Tango. I will repeat, KAHOOT. You can download it from www.kahoot.it. To participate, 3 winners will receive gifts voucher from CIO Club. Is it exciting? Very good. You can see the screen. I was reading somewhere else. The screen has got all the details. I request participants to enter their name, initial of 2 characters, and mobile number as a nickname. For example, my name is Harish Chandra, so I'll put HC followed by my mobile number. You can also see the chat box. It has got all the details. Now, I would like to request Mr. Basant to take this quiz forward.
Yeah, if you could see this screen, it's very clear. You have to download the app. If it is not there, you can go to website www.kahoot.it and you will receive the screen wherein you have to enter the PIN. So PIN will be shortly displayed on your screen once we run the quiz, and it will ask for nickname. So in nickname, you have to enter your initial. For example, your name is Hemant Kumar, so it should be HK, and your mobile number, so that we can reach to you to give the coupons. So we are moving to the quiz now. And the PIN number is on your screen. The PIN number is 931431. Please open Kahoot and enter this PIN 931431. I could see one person has entered with his name. His name is Amit. Another one is VIK, Manoj. I would like to repeat, please enter your initials along with mobile number. Otherwise, you may miss out on the prize. Please do not enter initials only. You have to enter your mobile number also. You can go out of the Kahoot app and then re-enter. I will wait for 15 seconds more and we'll start the quiz. Once again, the PIN number is 931431. And we have more than 50 players now. And I'm going to start now. And here is the first question appearing on the screen. CIO Club, Unlock 1.0, Safe Travel, Safe Stay. First question, what are key challenges faced by hotel and travel industry due to COVID-19? Staff safety, social distancing, high quality service, all of the above. Select the answer carefully. So we have received approximately 55 answers now. And the correct answer is all of the above. Most of the people were able to answer this correctly. Moving to the next. So here is the score. So it is just like faster fingers first. Who enters the correct answer first is going to get more points. Next question. Number of people recommended in small and big elevator. This was just said by Dr. Sudhir. Small with 1 and big with 2. Small with 2 and big with 4. Only one person per elevator. Do not use elevator. These are the options. Number of people recommended in small and big elevator. And the correct answer is in the small elevator 2 and the big elevator 4. Those people who were able to follow the discussion have already entered the correct answer. And we have new person on the top, 1863 points. Moving to the next question. Tables to be sanitized each time customer leaves. So whenever you are going to restaurant, tables to be sanitized each time customer leaves. Answer true or false. Yes, you are right. It has to be sanitized every time a customer leaves. Correct answer. 51 people have answered it very well. And here is the top 3. Next question. From which date domestic airlines started operations across the country? 15th April 2020, 25th May 2020, 1st June 2020, 8th June 2020. And the correct answer is 25th May 2020. Most of the people know it very well and they have given the correct answer. Here is the final score. We are AS 99250076661 is able to retain the position. Great going, and we have seen lot many people jumping to the second and third position. Moving to the next question. For air travel, passenger needs to give following declarations to airline. They are not residing in any containment zone, not suffering with any fever, cough and respiratory disease, not under quarantine, or all of the above. Which one is the correct option? Air travel passenger, what declaration they give? Which is the correct answer? Please select. Correct answer is all of the above, and most of the people knows it very well. Okay, so moving to the next question now. It is the second last question. Which one is incorrect statement against guideline provided by DGCA for domestic travel? No handbag and only one check-in bag allowed. Wearing face mask is mandatory. Middle seat allocation can be done with face mask and face shield. Self-declaration on Arogya Setu app. So which one is the incorrect statement among these four? Please read carefully before answering. Yes, most of you know it. Government DGC has said that besides face mask and face shield, airlines has to provide additional safety measures. So this protection will not do. Otherwise, you do not allocate middle seat. Going to the next question. So here you can see that we have topper 7661 number ending with is retaining the position, and we have some changes in the position. This is the last question and the last opportunity to get the top 3 position. Easy question, very easy question. Just be fast. Vulnerable persons such as very elderly, pregnant ladies, passengers with health issues are advised to avoid air travel. True or false? You just have 10 seconds. True or false? Elderly ladies, elderly, pregnant ladies and passengers with health issues. And here it comes the end of the quiz. 55 people have answered it correct. And here are the winners. Alok, oh, MR, and the winner is AS 9925007661. He retained the position. Congratulations. And from here, I request Ashish Bhai to give control back to Harish sir.
Am I audible, Ashish Bhai? Person sir, am I audible?
Yes.
You are audible.
Okay, thank you, Person sir, for making our session so interesting. Now over to something, we have to go to question and answer session now. Before that, I will say something here. Customer is king. We create a home away from home in hospitality and travel industry. We want to keep everything simple and sober in the new norm to keep our king, customer, and employees hale and healthy all the time. You have seen sensor-based soap dispensers that can be installed in public toilets or that are installed in various public toilets, sensor-based, IoT-based. This can be installed in guest rooms. Similar dispensers can also be placed in restaurants for dispensing soups and juice. It is all about innovation. IT managers are becoming innovation managers now. Social distancing bands can be provided to employees. These bands will vibrate when two employees somehow are not maintaining social distancing. Hotels will be offering limited choice of F&B using disposable plates and cutlery. Hotels will try to use high-tech and touchless guest solution as Dr. Sudhir and Yush has displayed in his presentation. There are very expensive solutions and there are very basic solutions like sodium hypochlorite, 1%, which can be sprayed on carpet, which prevents in spreading corona via the soul of a guest in a hotel. Many of my CIO friends, CXO friends have asked me various questions. Who will park my car? Who will carry my luggage? Are my friends allowed in the hotel during corona? Will I get the same spread of buffet for lunch, dinner and breakfast? Will housekeeping staff will wear PPE kit before entering my room to clean it? Can I carry my own pillow and bed sheets in the hotel? Can I pay using Paytm and other digital payment methods? So many questions are there. For this, I will start with a question and answer. I will start with Mr. Advani. Mr. Advani, we have heard very insightful presentation of Dr. Andrews. What are your thoughts from a hotel owner's perspective? Over to you, Mr. Advani.
Hear me? Anyone hear me?
Yeah.
Yes, we can hear you. Ashish Bhai, we can see the presentation of Dr. Andrews. If you can remove that and if you can allow all the cameras of panelists, please. Prasan sir,
Should
are
I
you
go
there?
ahead, sir? Yes, sir. Should I go ahead?
1 second. Prasan sir, if you can remove the presentation of Dr. Andrews and put the screen of all the panelists, please, here.
Yeah, I'm doing that.
Okay, okay. Meanwhile, Mr. Advani, please continue.
Okay, great. Thank you everyone for attending, especially on a Sunday. It's great to have so many participants, and thank you for Harish sir for putting this all together. It was much needed. We all have a lot of questions, and this has been exceptionally helpful. The presentation of Dr. Andrews was excellent. It has given all of us small, specific, and scheduled steps which we need to implement now to de-risk the situation. It was very thorough. I actually have even more questions, so I hope to hear him back again soon. Yes, we have to be honest that the coronavirus has disrupted our lives in unexpected ways. However, we also have to recognize that it's the most important thing we can do is to stay calm, and the mindset is very important. While we're talking about protocols, while we're talking about safety measures, what we're really dealing with is a mindset. And rather than being always focused on the problem, I think we should also focus on the solution. And we are a very resilient species. We're very adaptable. We've been through many different things. So therefore, we can overcome this. And it's just a mindset issue which we have to focus on. Yes, it is 100% true that this is a historic challenge for our industry. There's a lot of uncertainty, but I firmly believe that this will pass eventually and the travel industry will recover. It's just a matter of time. Yes, that recovery will not be even. There will be certain types of hotels which will recover faster. There will be certain market segments which will recover faster. For example, a business traveler could potentially reduce his air travel and say, I'll have the business meeting via Zoom. But I don't think we can have a holiday virtually on Zoom. So there are certain segments which will recover faster, some which will be slower. I think, yes, 100% all of us in the industry at every part of it will invest much more in sanitization measures, in sanitization equipment, training, hygiene protocols. And that does seem very daunting. I mean, when you look at all the various things one has to do, it does create a sense of, like almost an impossible challenge when we are sitting here today. However, I would like to actually helicopter up to gain some perspective, and Mr. Andrews actually mentioned this, so it might be a repetition, but we can all remember 9/11, and we can all really remember 26/11, which was very close to our hearts and what happened. And at those points when that tragedy occurred, it really did seem to even me that the future was very bleak for our industry. And what I felt was that we actually pivoted on a dime. We invented things, we reinvented our processes. At that stage, we got in baggage scanners, we got in metal detectors, we got in boom barriers. There was a whole lot of security measures. You couldn't take shaving blades in your plane. There were so many things. And at that point in time, that seemed so abnormal and that seemed so funny. Whereas today, we take that as very much normal. We travel on a dime. We don't bat an eyelid that there's a walk-in metal detector or there's a baggage scanning for our luggage. It's just normal. In fact, we feel good that people have made a proactive step to ensure better safety for everyone. So I would just like to keep that perspective in mind that yes, it looks very daunting right now, but it's a matter of process. And as long as we have gentlemen like Mr. Andrews and we have organizations which put together SOPs, then it's just a matter of implementing it. And I feel we will all reach that stage. It's just a matter of time. And at a more philosophical level, just a very wise leader in the year 1933, when the world was in a very dark time, said The only thing we have to fear is fear itself. And I feel that is very relevant for us today even. And we have to change this fear mindset, because ultimately we are known to adapt, and we are a resilient species. Thank you, sir. And I'll handle over to the other panelists, and we'll come back for Q&A specifically.
Harish, I think you're on mute. Still on mute.
Constant is change. I'm very sure that time will change and everything will be normal. Thank you so much.
Thanks.
Welcome, sir. Now, my next question is to Mr. Saurabh. We have heard of hotels. Now, what airlines are doing? My question is, what are the new instructions in safety and hygiene that aviation industry is adding in its SOPs and procedures? What can I expect for check-in when I go to airports now? What has changed? How longer has the process become? What has changed in the flight experience? Thank you.
Good afternoon, everybody. Good afternoon, the panelists. And thanks for the opportunity to share my views as part of this webinar. Yes, quite a few things have changed. Some of those actually have changed for our good as well. For example, I would say a web check-in or a mobile check-in. We always wanted it to be done by majority of our customers. And as a matter of fact, on day 2 and day 1 and day 2, when I saw the data, you will be surprised to know more than 90% of our customers are doing a remote check-in, not only for themselves, but also for the bags, if they're carrying a check-in bag. So there is a paradigm shift, in terms of individual responsibility. People are more conscious, more disciplined. Okay, a few things just to iterate, and we are also guided by the mandates from our regulators as well as Ministry of Civil Aviation. There are quite a few things that needs to be kept into consideration before we travel. Is of course the destination rules, because today every state has different rules in terms of accepting a passenger who travels on a flight or travels by road or whatever. So that's the first thing first, because the last thing you want is land up there and then be faced with home quarantine or institutional quarantine and so on and so forth. So that's very important. So the second thing is that as I mentioned, that the web check-in and of the passenger as well as the bag has been made mandatory, and people are doing it. Yes, there could be about 8-10% of customers who may not do it for different reasons whatsoever, but that we handle it. We are also putting a kind of a WhatsApp which would be received by the passenger, and he can actually scan that if he has forgotten to do it while he was at home or whatever it is. Now what happens is that so he has to have his Arogya Setu updated. He has to give a declaration, self-declaration in terms of his medical condition, together with all the contact addresses, both at the origin as well as the destination, before he can even web check in. So that's mandatory. So when he arrives at the airport terminal, the CISF, which is another stakeholder, typically measures, the temperature is measured, and whether he's asymptomatic or symptomatic, those things are ascertained. They have a look at the Arogya Setu app that you're carrying, and then they let you in. Now, if you just have if you do not have a bag or check-in, you can straight go to the security hold. And good thing which has happened also is that the CISF has decided not to stamp your boarding pass, because there is no boarding pass for that matter. You might have a paper boarding pass or a mobile boarding pass, but they don't stamp it anymore. And they try to keep as safe distance as possible while they are frisking you. Once you're inside the security hold, the sterile area, as a customer, we are advised to take a kit which the airline offers, and that kit contains the specific stuff, which is basically a mask, the gloves, shield, and of course a small sanitizer. And obviously there are places where you queue up and all that. We start boarding from the back, which we used to earlier do it as well, but now it is more more strict in terms of letting the passengers. And as a matter of fact, you will be surprised, each one of us have become more disciplined. I mean, even if you go to a shop outside, we decide to stand outside the shop if the security out there at the shop tells there are 4 people inside, so you cannot go, and we do it. Same thing happens at the airport. There have been areas, places marked where you can stand, and people actually stand there. I mean, it's very nice to see that. So there is a distinct a dose of discipline, an element of discipline, which actually is helping us to make this entire process comparatively more seamless and not as difficult as we initially envisaged. Inside the aircraft, while we avoid, and to an extent we can avoid to the if the loads are less, the middle seat, as I was mentioning. But the middle seat is, if anybody occupies the middle seat, has to be given a PPE, with which is a wraparound PPE, which they cover it and then they sit. The crew, of course, they are all in PPEs, be it the gown on top of their uniform, their face shield, and all that stuff. So adequate care is taken. The aircraft is sanitized. One advantage we have is that since we are operating at 25% of our capacity, there are aircrafts available to operate, and those are also being kept sanitized. So the sanitization is not something that, we have to do it within 30 minutes, 35 minutes, because the turnaround has to be there. There are aircrafts which are available, which are kept ready, so that we give adequate time for sanitization as per the WHO and the IATA requirements. So in terms of the safety, the hygiene, I think we are trying our best, and I think we are quite used to this new environment now in the last 2 weeks that we have operated. I was talking to some of my counterparts in the ground handling and the flight operations departments, and they said, yeah, this will actually become a part of life. I mean, this is nothing much to worry about. The processes have actually sunk in place. Yes, some tweaking need to be done. Something will have to be done here and there. That's obvious, because we are not aware of this situation. But having said that, I think people are comfortable. The only thing, this is very important for us to improve on the confidence of our customers that they can travel. We are doing about close to about 20 to 24% of our flights that we used to do as when we compare pre-COVID period. We used to do about 1,500 plus departures a day. Now we are around 300 departures a day, so it's basically 20%. So yes, my take on this is that yes, it is safer to travel in air, obviously, if you have to travel, because I think because of so much of regulation and so much of mandates coming into place, I think there are more people who have thought through this entire process. And of course, the air within the aircraft, as shared publicly by different airlines, is that yeah, it is safe. It is recirculated every 2 to 3 minutes, and so on and so forth.
Thank you so much. Quite interesting. Over to Shiv now. Mr. Shiv, I would like to know something. What will it take to bring people back into hotels? Mostly for discretionary usage. What about MICE and events? What are technology solutions leisure hotels are planning to implement to offer high-tech and touchless guest experience? I'm sorry I mixed 2 questions, but you can answer first one about your MICE and events, then I'll cover the other one, the tech solutions.
That's all right. I think we'll handle that. Thank you so much, panelists. Very enlightening so far. I think there are 2 aspects to it, Harish. One is the short term and one is the long term. I think we are very, very confident about one thing, that in the short term, it's going to take confidence for our patrons on how much confidence they have on the industry to be able to deliver on the promise of safety, of prevention, and of care. the entire industry has been working for the last 2.5 months, even when we became aware of this, that everybody's come out with different options. We've innovated, we've adapted, we've developed, we've sourced, we've done so many things to make sure that every single guest who's walking into our hotels from any chain, could be any group, it could be standalone hotels across the board, is going to be kept safe. Staff training has been on everywhere. Processes have been put through. Training and retraining has happened, and continues to do so. And innovation will continue as we go forward. So, the point is that everybody needs to have confidence enough to basically travel across. More importantly, I think at this point, while we are coming out of a staged lockdown, in different stages, I think clarity to the public on part of travel and accessibility to areas, whether for work, whether for pleasure, is extremely important at this point. There's not enough clarity right now, though we assume and we are quite confident that things are going to start changing from tomorrow, which is the 8th, when new advisories and everything are already coming into place. Lots of boundaries are opening up. Interstate travel is opening up. Flights are already on. So we expect to see that basically happening. The public needs to know whether they can travel for business, can they travel for what you call leisure, and hopefully they're not going to be quarantined, because nobody can afford 10 days, 14 days in a particular location. It doesn't work, it's not viable. So that's what I feel is basically going to happen. In the short term, I guess the business movement may be discretionary for business hotels, especially for populated areas. I think we might see a slower build up in what you call both tier 3 and what you call tier 1s. I think tier 2 might pick up even faster as compared to tier 1s. But let's see how it basically pans out. But the business movement, it'll come around sooner rather than later. So we can definitely expect that to happen. Leisure movement to certain belts and areas will happen. People want to change, and what can be better than getting across to resorts in clean and green locations? I mean, everybody's sick of being cooped up. We've been under lockdown. We want family time away from home. So the idea is staycations at drivable distances from your cities, your towns, and why not? I think there's been no better time to de-stress than now. So when it comes to the long term, I think we'll all come around to embracing the new normal, what we term as the new normal. I like to call it normal. There's nothing new. It's just adaptability. It's a minor change. It's a minor hiccup. But I think a few more months, maybe a year or so, I think everybody's going to be looking back and smiling. So it's right now, it's a little awkward. Everybody's coming out of lockdown, out of the comfort of their homes. So wearing your masks and wearing your gloves and constantly using sanitizer, it's still a conscious effort, because society is basically moving back to work, gradually moving out of their homes. So the social distancing norms are still sinking in. So it takes a conscious effort. But I think give it a couple of weeks and it'll become second nature to most of us. And MICE, your question on MICE and events, it will happen. Business needs to start moving. It can't stay in limbo. And we can't be held ransom to a virus. I mean, come on. Hotels have been innovated and developed options for maintaining distancing, hygiene control for gatherings, and multiple options, segregating buffets, looking at smaller covered pre-portioned meals, different items, different counters, everything. So this, it can all be managed. I don't see a problem happening with that. Initially, we may have smaller conferences and gatherings, but outdoor events, I still feel, can be larger as long as certain guidelines are followed and they are implemented. I should not see a problem with that. It's not just a question of authorities giving us a guideline. I think as an industry, we also need to educate our guests. We have an obligation to do so, and to make sure that these norms are actually practiced and followed. We need to be champions for our own industry, and in educating the public. We've done it for so many decades in the past, so why not for this? So I think your mice, like I said, your conferences will start small. Bigger mice may take a bit of time. The big Indian wedding is definitely going to have to wait for a short while. I don't think that's happening. But having said that, we all need to understand that there's a global effort with successes at various stages for vaccine development. I see the vaccine coming faster rather than later. We're already looking on the horizon, and you're probably looking at a vaccine going into production in various countries within the next 5, maximum 6 months. So yes, of course, it'll take time for it to, filter down to the public, but it'll happen. And I say, I mean, what's it going to be? I mean, another year and a half, 15 months, 16 months, 18 months, it'll all come back. Eventually, everybody in the industry and our patrons, we will come back to what it used to be. We have always been a very, very personalized and a full contact industry. It's not going to change. We cannot change the basic experience of hospitality, which is person to person. It's not going to happen. We will come back to it. Coming back to your basic question, which you had asked me on, what Leisure Hotels is doing for technology. Honestly, I'd say that we've basically looked at technology all the way from from the word from pre-arrival of the guest. We are actually getting involved with the guest much before he even arrives. Adopting software, we are looking at integrating our complete PMS. We are already into that now. I think we should be going live in the next, I'd say about a week or so maximum. So the software allows us to actually connect with the guest for his pre-registration, for all his pre-arrival formalities. We can communicate with him a lot of things in terms of activities, adventure, etc. That certain locations have to offer certain services from the business hotel. So we are getting into that practice. Certain aspects are going to be IT based when it comes to contactless, and some areas I'd say would be limited contact. Hospitality, I don't think can entirely be contactless. It's in a real time, it's not possible. You are looking at arrival. You're looking at pre-reg. You are looking at no check-ins at reception. You're looking at direct room escorts. You are looking at guest requests while during the course of your stay, all electronic, everything on the handheld smart device which a guest is going to have. Everything is going to be made available to him on his phone, whether it's our business hotels or whether it's our resorts. The standards are going to be the same. Simple requests like get me a towel or do something in my room or whatever is all going to be available at a tap on your screen. In-room dining options, your menus, everything is going to be available to him on his phone. He wants to request activities. He wants to look at adventure. He wants to look at what he wants to book his table in the restaurant in the evening. Everything is going to be made available on the phone itself. We are looking at technology to make it more comfortable for the guest. We are looking at technology to make it, like I said, contactless. But we don't want to look technology to the point where it changes the guest experience. That's not going to happen.
Thank you for all the thoughts. Great thoughts. In the interest of time, I'll move to next panelist because we have only the last 10 minutes left, and we also need some time for question answers. And really, I want to listen to you, but time is very less now. Sorry to cut you here. Thank you so much. My next question is to Mr. Siddharth Gupta. Mr. Gupta, I would like to know your thoughts on technology aspect of hotel reopening. How this could be a great opportunity for hotels to make big leaps on technology now.
Yeah, I think actually, thanks, Harish. I think Shiv covered a lot of those aspects that I would have probably shared on that question specifically. All that I would say is probably, as the famous saying goes, what doesn't kill you make you stronger. And I think this is probably a great opportunity for all of us in the hotel industry to really revisit how we have so far thought of technology, right? And there has always been a certain pride that we have taken in this being a very human touch driven industry, and we believe that, oh, there is a certain certain kind of service model that the customer is looking for. And I think this virus is kind of offering a humble realization to all of us that maybe that's not going to be the future. And that is the realization that maybe even the guest was asking us to see, but we were not seeing it because there's a lot of baggage we ourselves come with, where everything has been so human driven, everything has been so touch and feel. There have been ton and ton of paper out there. I'm actually jealous of for example, Saurav over here, when he says that 90% of their customers are checking in online. I just don't get the concept of checking in at the front desk in a hotel. I just don't get it. It is literally a key to the room that you need to collect. Essentially, that's the only purpose you probably are going to the room, going to the front desk for. And that too, if you are an upscale hotel or if you're a new build and you can afford those new age technology where you can open door locks with your phone, then you don't need to do that either. And even to collect a key, I mean, there can simply be a dispensing machine which will give you a pre-cut key, as opposed to there being this interaction with any human. And I do hope that as an industry we don't waste this crisis. I mean, a crisis should never be wasted, and we really relook at the fairly archaic technology that most of us have probably worked on. I'm surprised as an industry we are still heavily on-premise technology. As an industry, our products, our software products still look a little bit like they're still in Windows 95 era, where the world has moved to Google Chrome. So I think, without going, I think Shiv gave the absolutely perfect examples of what all technology can do, and there's so much more. I would just say that this is an unprecedented opportunity. And by the way, at Tribo, we are thinking of it in exactly this way. At no other point in our past, or probably and hopefully in our future, can there be a time when there will be no pressing needs of business on a day-to-day basis on your technology team, such that they really have the opportunity to literally pull the wheels of the car out and put in new wheels which you need to run a Formula One race, as opposed to driving in Bangalore traffic. That's been the pace as far as technology is concerned. So I'm actually excited. I mean, it's great that everyone here is very optimistic that recovery will happen. I believe so too. And in fact, I will go one step further to say I'm actually very thankful to this crisis for giving us this unprecedented opportunity to look at technology in a fundamentally transformed manner, as opposed to making those incremental changes. I would love it if when things reopen fully, we permanently bid goodbye to the arrival departure register. We permanently bid goodbye to this thing called registration cards. I don't understand why they're required. I mean, I know why they're required, but why they need to be on paper with someone signing with a pen which has been touched by 100 other people before me. I hope we permanently do away with the concept of these multiple printouts, seeing first your summary, then making a payment, then getting an invoice in that neat envelope. Corona or no corona, I'm even if I'm spending 20,000 rupees on a room stay, it's not just for a budget hotel like Tribo. I don't want that paper. I really don't need it. I'm going to probably just discard it. I would love it if everything is on email, on WhatsApp, on the mobile app. There's no reason when check-ins have been happening on the phone for not just Indigo, but also for PVR, for Inox, for movies. Everything is, I don't understand why we have to be any different. So it's really exciting. And I'll just add, at the risk of sounding like self-marketing, I will mention that at Tribo we are using this as an opportunity, in fact, to externalize all the technology that so far we were using for our own operations. We had this unique advantage that we started very recently, only 5 years ago. So whatever technology we had built for our own use, we are using the COVID crisis to now actually package it and externalize it such that we can offer it on a SaaS basis to other hotels and hotel chains as well. And I would love to connect with some of you offline to see if there's an opportunity for us to offer the same to you as well. But I'm excited on what what the world will look like once we come out of this.
Thank you, Siddharth. Very insightful. You have showed us a new path. We never thought of this actually. We all thought that we have to work as per the old tradition of hotel industry. We'll keep our warmth, but we'll go paperless. We'd love to connect with you to understand your thoughts later. Thank you so much. Now over to Mr. Jakiran. Mr. Jakiran, I would like to know what all steps are being taken to assure the traveler that traveling is safe, and how are they being educated on the same?
Thank you, Harish.
What are the
can you hear me?
ways? Yes, I can hear you. Please go ahead.
All right. Thank you very much, and thanks to the CIO Club for organizing this panel discussion. I'm in the august company of some of the stalwarts in the industry. Look, I want to start by saying that I'm very proud to be part of this travel and hospitality industry. This industry, gives you almost 12% of the total jobs that get created in India, correct? So, and it contributes to around 9% of our GDP. We all know those numbers. I'm just repeating at the sake for the heck of it. Like I said, this industry, of course, there is no doubt that it will bounce back. The timing is a debate here. But essentially speaking, we cannot, the business, the personal nature of ours, we cannot stay away from travel, correct? We need our breaks. We need to conduct businesses. We need to, do all sort of things to ensure that we are not in a monotonous situation, which we have been for the last 2.5 months. Yeah, sitting at home doing nothing. I mean, virtually nothing in the sense not going out and doing things that we do. On our part, what we are doing is we've been engaging with the travelers, in all this time that we have been, preparing for the flights to operate again, the hotels to open. Normally, you would have, you would not want information overload to be going to your customers, but I think this time it was different. The customers were also enjoying the kind of information that was being sent to them by everybody saying that this is what needs to be done. So we've been in touch with our customers, saying that you have to take these precautions, that precautions. Fortunately for us, all the stakeholders that I have here, the airlines, the hotels, even the the government bodies like the Airport Authority of India, etc. They have been very proactive in giving out information on the touchless way the check-ins are happening. When you enter the airport, how the CISF is going to be. There is no frisking now as such. You have to have your mobile boarding passes and all that. And I agree with Saurabh. For all the tickets that we've issued, 100% of the travelers have done web check-ins. So that's a very encouraging factor. We're also looking at the fact that more and more people would want to switch to booking technologies, which would not let them interact with an individual. So for corporate travel, where clients would want typically people coming into their office and sitting there and doing things, they are very much open on letting the things happen in the travel company's office. We're also the fortunate part with us is that we also own our own car rental fleet. So we've done things like we've come out with a program called Safe Car Promise, where our drivers are trained in how to manage these health and hygiene protocols. There are sanitizers in the car. The driver will actually take your luggage, sanitize it with a spray and then put it in the cab. So all those things, we are communicating to the travelers to ensure that when they travel, they are going to be safe. There's not going to be anything left to chance for them to contract this virus. And what we are also doing is we are partnering with our hotel suppliers, etc. Only with those known brands which are having a very clear-cut health and hygiene protocol standards. So if I talk about, our own ITC's got a V-Assure program. So we are, evaluating our supplies as well on those grounds, and we'll only be, recommending those which meet those, stringent standards. So everything that we are, the total aim that we have is that we want to assure the traveler that, while, these are difficult times, but if you need to travel, everybody has taken care, everybody has done things, they're very cognizant of the fact that you have to be safe, and there are protocols, there are standards that are available which will just ensure that. So these are some of the things that we are doing for assuring the travelers that it's safe to travel. We also believe that when the lockdowns open, when the hotels start operating, people would want to get out of their house and spend a weekend maybe with the family at a resort. So we also are coming out with programs with packages where it's going to be that. So we believe that domestic tourism is going to be kicking in the short term. Corporate travel will also pick up. So the industry is it's in a dire state at the moment. Let's be very honest about that. But it's going to recover soon. I think we should see a robust Q4 of this financial year, where we all will be, feeling a bit happy about it. Yeah, that's what we are doing, Harish.
Thank you so much, Jay. Trust me, this is the first time I have moderated a session like this. I have been moderating session of IT. This is the first opportunity for me to moderate a session with MS panelists from all the travel and tourism verticals. I have really learned so much from all of you today. Thank you so much. Now, time is very less. If admin will permit, then what I will say is, if we have time, we will go for some question or answers. Else, I would like to give both of thanks. Over to Basant sir. Ashish sir, if you permit, I'll take some questions. Else, I would like to close this session now.
We request attendees to put their questions. We will take this up. If there are no questions, then we can attend the session. So let us wait for half a minute and then take a call.
Okay, I think Saurabh wanted to say something. Am I right, Mr. Saurabh?
Yep. No, it's okay. No. Nothing like that.
So we'll wait for some time. If we have some questions in the chat, which Mr. Basant will read for us, and then else, I think we are on time. We finished just 3 minutes more than our session. It was supposed to get over 5:30.
I have a question here, Harish sir. The question is asked by an attendee that will the hotels be interested to serve the guest food in room service or in bento boxes? This question is asked by Mr. Bhushan.
I think Mr. Advani or Mr. Shiv can take this very well. Please. You have to unmute yourself, Shiv.
Yeah, got it. Okay, so I think hotels are, of course, inclined to provide room service. Hotels, resorts, both. In leisure hotels, we also provide bento boxes. So the option is completely there. There will be room service which will be given under certain guidelines. There will be certain preventions, of course, for the benefit of the guest, which we would be doing. So whether it is leaving your complete tray layout and everything on tray jacks at the entrance of the guest room, and avoid as much of entry into the room as possible. But absolutely, room service is very much on for all hotels, and that's basically a guest prerogative, so can't be overlooked. Farad?
Yes, I completely agree. I think room service will in fact increase because people will feel that it is much safer. In fact, I was discussing with the team just yesterday if we could, toying with the idea that if we could maybe test our service staff on a certain basis. I saw that in Dubai, they made a testing of every employee every 15 days. I thought if we could come out with some concept that, COVID-free butler or, something like that. And give that layer of security as well as the warmth of service, and room service will definitely increase.
Okay, so we have more questions here. Assuming that all these will have to there is a communication required on check-in process. There are some changes like we talked about disinfection tunnel. So if there is a miscommunication or no information reaches the customer and they refuse to support the process, so what to do in that case?
Prasan sir, I would like to take this question. Hotels have devised SOPs. We will be passing information for all the do's and don'ts. I feel we need cooperation from all the guests. If there is a rule which is from a state government or government of India at a national level, or if it is a SOP of a hotel chain, we will request guests to follow it. If there's a policy that guest has to carry his luggage to his room, he has to carry it. Okay. Now times have really changed. Customer is king, but we need his cooperation. Over to Shiv or Mr. Advani for this.
Prahlad, you want to take it?
It's a good question. I think, again, it comes back to a mindset. I remember, 20 years ago, we used to have a resistance from certain people to wear swimming costumes in the pool. They wanted to wear like saris and, very, conservative sort of covered fully, going in. And then we had to explain and say, look, this is a resort, this is hygiene. This is better for you and it's better for the other guests. And initially that conversation, may have been a little difficult, but then everyone just conforms. So I think it's a matter of politely educating the customers what's safer for them and what's safer for everyone else. And I'll hand it over to Shiv. I think he's good at this.
No, I agree absolutely. I think like I said, we have the obligation to educate the client, and the best way of going about it is if there's a free flow of communication even before the guests are coming across. When, for example, we've devised what is the safety you should adopt when you're at the resort. It is for your own safety. It's for the safety of others. So, kindly wear your masks. Make sure when you're wearing your mask while you're outside. Please use your sanitizers. Your sanitizer stations are put across everywhere. So it's more a level of consciousness. But honestly, I still think it's going to get. It's not going to be difficult. People are aware. I think in the last 2.5 months, media has really made everybody really aware. So that should not be too much of a problem in terms of people adopting new practices and understanding exactly how it is, because it's actually for their benefit, not ours. So it should be easy.
Okay, there is another question from Mr. Harmeet Singh Bhusari that would the hoteliers be interested in using crockery with antimicrobial coating?
Antimicrobacterial coating. I feel this is a. I'm not too sure, but what I know is that hotels will use disposable cutlery, crockery, and plates for time being.
Well, I think I'd like to say, like I said, we would hotel chains or a lot of hotels, especially in the leisure segment or the upper bracket, nobody would want to change the guest experience entirely. The fact is that we've for example, in our case, we've coupled with known international hygiene and sanitation companies, and we have solutions for complete disinfection. So having a person pay 20,000 bucks for a room and then sort of giving him a disposable plate may not work for in-room dining, but maybe yes, maybe for short social gatherings or high teas, that something like that can happen. But yeah, we can't change the entire hospitality experience all over again. We'd be open to it. I think the entire industry would be open to innovation. So what's the harm?
And I feel what's very important is we keep bringing up this term social distancing, and I really wish they use something else like maybe physical distancing, because we're socially connected. We're connected right here, right now. So I think, we got to sometimes, they've made it like you're afraid to breathe now. They've made it so scary. So I think, I always say that something is never as bad as it seems to be, and nothing is ever as good as it seems to be. And right now they've hyped it up that, we're all going to die today. So I think, there has to be this balance of, being practical and realistic and living, and I think we should avoid these extremes, I think we'll succeed with that.
Okay, here is a question to Mr. Saurabh Sinha. Question on airline travel. Despite all precautions, there were reports of few air passengers got infected. Who is responsible in such a situation? CISF, airport authority, or airlines? Because there are so many entities involved before a passenger boards a flight.
See, it's very difficult to ascertain. It's a flight is actually about 1.5 hours, 2 hours max, apart from few sectors. So it's very difficult to ascertain where he actually got the infection. At the end of the day, it is whether he had it. I mean, we had a case from Chennai to Coimbatore, and where the passenger was asymptomatic when he boarded the flight. I mean, when he came into the terminal, between then and Coimbatore, which is hardly 45 minutes flight, give him about 2.5 hours, and he tested positive. I mean, he definitely had that infection before. Probably it manifested in some way or the other, and that's how he was detected in Coimbatore. So one, really, it's very difficult to say that, whether he got it, because flight duration of the airport, even between his getting into the airport and getting out of the airport in typical environment would not be more than 4 or 5 hours. So we will have to see, whether he gets the infection and it can be traced back because there was somebody in the aircraft who had, who had some infection or something of that sort, Till now, I'm not too sure whether such a situation has come over, but yes, people who have traveled, and this is the case I told you, it was all over the press. It's very clear that he was maybe asymptomatic, but he had the infection before he even turned up to travel.
Thank you. There are a lot of questions coming. Actually, I don't know whether to take, so because we are left with very few minutes, I would take two more questions. One question coming from Robin Joy. The question is about future of travel and hospitality, when it will become normal. When will self-service hotels get a more weightage in current situation? What about travel agencies and your interface with them post-COVID? Will they exist or do not exist? These are three questions being asked.
I think, Jay, you can take the question whether travel agencies exit or not. I feel they will exit always. So maybe the role will change.
Yes, so like I said, this is a vast industry. We are all the wheels who run this industry. The travel agencies will certainly exist, and so would all the other partners that we have in this whole travel and hospitality industry. It's just that we'll have to adapt to working in a new way. Like the hotels are adapting to a touchless procedure. The airports are adapting to a touchless procedure. Similarly, the travel companies also would benefit. I would say they would benefit with this knowledge and with this the adaptation to technology that the corporate travelers and the other travelers would be adopting themselves too. So it is going to be. I see this as a blessing in disguise, rightfully. And somebody said that a crisis should not be wasted. So we are looking at it in that manner, where we are going to be coming out even stronger than it would have been before. We talked about 9/11, 26/11. Those were all events that also showed us some paradigm shift. But this is an event which is unequaled. So that time we had impacts of around 1% or 2% on the industry, but here we are talking about impact of 30 to 40%. So while the path to recovery is long, it is arduous, but it will happen, and it will happen. Like I said, the Q4 of this financial year, we will have something to share about.
Great. I think, Professor, now we have to close this. You know what? I will say something here. I was told that the GM of a hotel is general sales manager. He's not only the GM to take care of operations. Today, business is so low, all the wheels are falling. Every employee in hotel has become a sales manager. We are all trying hard to get business because it's not there almost as of now. Second thing is every employee has become an innovation manager of hotel. We are just thinking what all to do to win the sentiments of guests. Third thing is multi-skilling is very important now. IT managers are doing checking job because receptionist has not come. A lot of changes will happen and new things all the employees need to learn now to survive. Now every employee in the hotel has become housekeeping manager. He has become the ambassador for hotel hygiene and sanitization. This is a thought which I have now. I would like to thank CIO Club members from all the chapters who have helped us in organizing and delivering this great webinar. It was a great discussion. Thank you, all the panelists. I would like to continue with this session, but now time is very less, and we have to take note learning from this session to make sure that our industry survives and we do something better tomorrow. Dear friends, stay tuned for much more learning from CIO Club. Stay vigilant, stay informed, and stay safe. Thank you so much for all your time.
Thank you. Thank you.